get a hold in this overtime. But, well, Kazar, he's ranked nationally for a reason, and he got it done. All right, we're going to set this up. 126 pounds. T.J. Brummels, a freshman out of Norfolk, taking on Brock Moore, who's a sophomore out of Choctaw, Oklahoma.
I'll tell you, we were talking
We got to wait for him to flash his go.
We were talking a little bit earlier about how dominant the sport of wrestling is in the state of Oklahoma. Looking through Central Oklahoma's roster, they have 50 wrestlers on the team. 45 of them are from the state of Oklahoma.
Man, that's incredible.
Coach David James doesn't have to go too far to recruit, I'll tell you that.
Okay, 3-0 is what Central Oklahoma has built at this point after this first match, and went into overtime. And I don't know if this is what is going to set precedence for the rest of the night, but I'll tell you what. We told you at the start of this thing this was going to be a biggie and a barn burner, and it certainly started out that way because, I mean, you go into overtime, that tells you something about the ability level and the equality between the two. T.J. Brummels, there you see him, 126 pounds, freshman out of Norfolk, Nebraska. He's a Panther. And then, of course, over on the Bronco lineup from Choctaw, I like that, Choctaw, Oklahoma, Brock Moore. You figure somebody out of Choctaw, and I might be stereotyping, he's either going to be a wrestler or in the rodeo. I don't know. Man, what are we looking for here, RJ?
Well, Brock Moore is a really long 126-pounder. I wouldn't be surprised if he's what we call a legger. When he gets on top, he'll stick those legs in and just crank on you like there's no tomorrow. So, and Brummels basically is just, just come into the starting lineup this year. He's a redshirt freshman, so he did get some experience last year. He was in high school. He was a two-time runner-up here in Nebraska, had an 88-30 career record in high school. The Mavericks originally this year had a wrestler by the name of Gil Donnelly from Florida. There's a real close to it, a takedown on the edge. Brummels not able to stay in bounds. You saw him trying to drag his toes there.
When you were in competition, did you like wrestling long opponents or?
Absolutely hated it.
Hated it, huh?
Absolutely hated it. Those were the guys that always gave me the most trouble, without a doubt. They're not necessarily strong, but just that length and leverage makes a big difference. There's a quick takedown by Brock Moore. Brummels was able to bounce right up and get almost an escape, but Moore able to get him back down to the mat. Brock Moore takes a 2-0 lead. We still have almost 2 minutes to go here in the first period, so plenty of time left for Brummels.
But so far, this duel has taken on the face that you said it would, Central Oklahoma early.
Yeah, this is exactly what I kind of figured. Central Oklahoma would jump out to an early lead, but we get really into the meat of the lineup for the Mavericks is in those last 2 or 3 weights. So I know Coach Denny puts a lot of confidence in those last 3 guys and usually isn't too worried. If as long as it's within reach, when we come down to those last 3 matches, he's confident enough to win.
Boy, Moore again, almost getting the better of Brummels, but Brummels able to drag them both out of bounds, and we'll set it up again. 3-0 Central Oklahoma leads after the win by Keith Kazar, the decision over Chad Short. Do you think, though, we're talking about the heavier weights for the Mavericks to get it going, does that put undue extra pressure on those guys?
Oh, definitely does. I mean, but when you get used to wrestling in those positions, I mean, like you look at the heavyweights, they know that it's going to possibly come down to their match every night.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in high school, I had a coach that occasionally would see if the other coaches would be willing to switch the lineup up. And see if, and once in a while some of the other schools would do it, and that could play a little bit of strategy. Again, you put your better wrestlers at the end. Fortunately, UNO right now,
well, we're going to get close.
This is something I know. It doesn't look like he could be in a little bit more trouble than we think here.
Yeah, from the angle we're at. Well, he's able to roll out of it. What are they going to give him, 3?
3-point near fall. He held him on his back for at least 5 seconds, but now he's getting a little high. T.J. Brummels needs to, what we call, come out the back door here. Out through the back of Brock Moore's legs to get a reversal. If he can just get his head out of there, he'll have the reversal.
But that gives Moore a 5-0 lead here, and we're still in the first period. There's the reversal right there, 2 points. makes it 5-2. So that now Brummels is on the scoreboard at least.
And you saw there, basically, Brummels let him go. He feels a little bit more confident wrestling on his feet. Although we talked about the length of Brock Moore, but I was just going to say, those guys have long legs. It's a big target to shoot at.
Yeah.
And you see right there, Brummels shoots right in, gets that low single. He still hasn't scored. He needs to finish and get behind Brock Moore.
You can see him trying to spin him around.
He needs to keep him in bounds here.
They're going to give him the 2.
No points yet.
Well, the UNO coaching staff thinks that Brummels has 2 points. Well, they're out.
No points. We're going to end the period at 6-2, even though there's 1 second left. They'll tick that off, but I doubt anything's going to happen at this point. That right there was a case of Brummels. I would almost call it inexperience. He was in control of the leg. All he had to do was pull him back to the middle in order to finish that takedown, and he attempted to try to finish on the edge, allowed Brock Moore to get out of bounds.
Right, and the first period is over. Ride time a factor at this point because we've got more than a minute, and it's in favor of Morton of Central Oklahoma, who does lead 6-2. He picked up that 6 point, as RJ said, with that escape.
Now, Coach Mike Denny of UNO, he's calling an official over to the table to, again, check on the score.
Assistant Coach Ron Higdon now talking to Phil Pasale as you get a good look at T.J. Brummels. I think he's got to step it up a notch this period. There's no question about it. I mean, he's down by 4 points. That's possibly 5 with the ride time. That's a lot.
Well, the biggest mistake he made was getting caught on his back there for the 3-point near fall. That makes it a real tough deficit to work back out of. So.
You know, and a lot of times, RJ, you know, the times I've been following collegiate wrestling, you get caught on your back. Usually it's a surprise to the wrestler. I mean, they don't expect it.
Well, the one thing about college wrestling, every guy you wrestle is a quality wrestler. You know, almost every one of these guys you'll see as we go through the lineup is a state champ or multi-state champ from somewhere.
Whoa, David James wanted 2 points for his wrestler.
I'm not sure what he was arguing there. It was a little bit closer to T.J. Brummels for UNO getting the 2 points.
That's what I thought. I thought maybe he'd get that. No, but you bring up a good point about everybody you wrestle at the collegiate level has been successful at the high school level. So
I mean, they should know how to win by this point and know how to not get beat and know how not to give up the big moves. But now Brummels, as we say that, gives up. Well, he's going to get off of his back, but it almost gave up another near fall there.
Man, but got a 2-point takedown, so now it's 9-2.
I'll tell you.
Or did they give him a 3-point near fall? I don't know. 9-2.
No, they just gave him the takedown.
Okay.
So he's got a 9-2 lead. You know, even if UNO loses a match like this, they don't want to lose by more than 8 points.
And because of the decision, yeah.
That's right. If they lose by 8 or more points, you got a major decision. If they lose by 15, you got a technical fall, and it's just more team points. So, you know, even in a match like this, they want T.J. Brummels to go out there and at least try to keep it close if he can't win the match.
Well, right now we're kind of in a lull. Brummels has been on the bottom for a long time. He's been actually, if you look at it for ride time, he's been on the bottom for over 2 minutes total in this match.
Well, like I said, you got a long, lanky wrestler like Brock Moore. These guys are leeches. They're hard to get loose from. Now, possible near fall situation, but T.J. Brummels' shoulders are out of bounds outside of the circle. You see the circle right there. They cannot award near fall points if his shoulders are out of bounds.
Right.
You want an injury?
Well, we finished the second period, and ride time, major factor here, but more importantly, Moore leads 9-2, but they're looking at Moore.
Well, I think he's probably in good hands because I believe his wife, Stacy, is a Central Oklahoma trainer. So
either that or she's giving him a pep talk like, you're not hurt. Get out there and wrestle. What's wrong with you?
That's what my wife would say.
Yeah, don't feel alone. You know, when we're together with the guys, we talk a good game, but basically we're all wimps. There you get a look at Moore. He's got a big lead right now. As RJ said, he's up by 7 at this point. If you had ride time, that's 8. So we're right on the border here.
We're going to go in the neutral position here in the third period. Again, Brummels needs to step it up. He needs to score points, even if it's not to win the match. at least to get it close. You know, you don't want him going out there and being so careless that he gives up a fall, though.
Right. About 1:45 to go in this match. 9-2 lead for Central Oklahoma's Moore over T.J. Brummels of UNO. The next step is at 134, Brauman, Creighton, and Matt Goodson.
Like I was saying, Brummels, he needs to get a takedown here just to save one team point. Even though he'd lose, it'll save one team point for the Mavericks because he won't give up the major decision if he can score some points here. Right now with riding time, the scoreboard shows 9-2, but with riding time it's 10-2, which is an 8-point major decision. Brummels trying to work the upper body, hoping for maybe a big move.
Well, as you said, those tall guys kind of leave an opening down low, but the problem is you've got to be able to, you know, the balance and the fulcrum and all that stuff comes into play, and you got to be able to break that.
But at the same time, it is a little bit tougher to throw the tall guy, too, because you can't get his feet off the mat.
Right.
Brummels trying to work for a throw here. He's pummeling in and working the upper body positions, but again, this level, it doesn't happen very often. I mean, Brock Moore's a quality wrestler. It's unlikely that he's going to give up a big move when he's holding on to an 8-point lead. So,
and it looks like TJ's just, I'm not going to say he's just hanging on, but he keeps looking over to the bench, and they keep, you know, they're giving him some help.
However, I said Brummels need to score. Brock Moore was just warned a second ago for stalling. If he gets called again, that'll lose the major decision for Central Oklahoma.
Right.
Work there, guys.
Boy, you know, I look in the crowd, I see a lot of former and current Maverick athletes. I see football coach Pat Burns had a tremendous season getting the Mavericks into the playoffs.
Overall, for the university, this has just been an incredible year. The football team gets in the playoffs. The volleyball team wins the national title. Both basketball teams are having a successful year. The wrestling team's ranked #1 in the country. It couldn't be any better for the Mavericks.
And physically, the campus has had a facelift over the last couple of years. And
in fact, the building we're in next year, they're going to start renovations on the field house as well, which are long overdue.
And you have to, of course, excuse both RJ and I, since we are UNO alums. We're homers, but this is our school, and we've been around the sports programs for a long time, so it's a good thing to see what we're seeing this year right now, especially in the light of all the controversies. But speaking of controversies, we're in a big battle here, and that's it for this match at 126 pounds. And let's see. T.J. Brummels falls to Brock Moore.
The score actually ended up 10-2 with riding time, so that should be a 4-point major decision for the Broncos. That'll jump them out to an early 7-0 lead on the Mavericks.
There we'll see the near fall in the first period, RJ.
That was the move. That was the move that really changed the swing of the match, because Brummels got in trouble, and Brock Moore never looked back from that point. So now we're coming up to 134 pounds. Like I said earlier, this is one of the matches that's up in the air. Anything could happen here.